Yo, welcome home.
Welcome home. Oh yeah, that's right. I was in Canada.
Yeah, you were away last time.
I was somewhere different.
You glad to have internet that doesn't time out now?
I don't know if it's better. We
Fair.
still have our just whatever internet we're doing here.
How was the rest of Fantasia? Anything exciting happened since we last spoke?
Not really. What I see, nothing worth talking about, which is a bummer. Just kind of like, had 2 more days left the festival. Okay. I like Fantasia a lot. Don't get me wrong. Fantasia is a great film festival, but they program something like 100+ movies because it runs for 3 weeks. So like, I have a very like hit and miss relationship with like movies I see there. So I'm working on screeners now, hoping to bump that hit ratio up. But yeah, nothing really to recommend, sadly.
Interesting. Okay. Nothing beyond what you mentioned last week, at least.
Right. Exactly.
You did say a couple good ones last week, so there was some solid stuff there.
I don't know. I've got reviews up already, so they're all on Slash Film so far.
Cool. Everyone go check them out. If you want to drop a link in the live chat, you can go for it.
Can I do that from here when I'm not signed in as you?
I mean, turn the volume on the YouTube video off, but you can open it in YouTube, or you can just private message it to me, and I'll
get there eventually. Don't worry.
We have lots of people here, like MK Songbird, Tommy. Look at all these wonderful people. How are you all doing? Happy Friday. There, Mike said it. Happy Friday. Mike also has our first super chat of the episode. An early congratulations to Greta Gerwig, who's about to have her first $1 billion movie by the end of the week. How's that for a birthday present? Crazy. I mean, it's not even like the movie's going to top out at $1 billion. Like, I think it's more likely that this movie's going to wind up with like 1.5 billion, which is just absolutely wild. Like, we're not talking about one of the biggest earners of the year. Like, that already puts it in one of the biggest earner of all time territory.
It's a property that has lots of reach. And hey, you make a good movie,
Property that has lots of reach. And, when you make a good movie that's entertaining and means something, it's going to earn that kind of money. Just try, like I was going to pull up the all-time numbers, but yet again, I will complain about Box Office Mojo essentially being useless. Eventually, I've navigated it over.
Absolutely useless.
What a stupid website. I was talking a little bit about Jeff and Mance about this. If I would love to see Barbie make something like 1.6, maybe 1.7, because it would just be wild to me if we were calling Barbie a higher earner than the Avengers, the Lion King, and Jurassic World. I just never would have bet on that.
I mean, it had everything pulling for it. Like, again, like this is a movie that was always going to do big numbers, but yeah, this big is.
Yeah, like I think big numbers in my mind, at least a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a little more at least, was something like a successful $60 million opening. And then when the numbers started to go up, I'm like, oh, $100 million. Like, no, it made way more than that.
Yeah. Because I mean, like everyone was talking about like Oppenheimer versus Barbie, and it's like, which is going to have more legs, which is going to, hit really like that early spike versus like actually longevity. And it's just
I bet against Barbie.
That's not a conversation anymore.
Nope. I'll always admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong on that one. I thought I was going to do well, but this well is really something else. We can bring this up briefly. Did you see any of this news out there?
Yeah, I did.
They didn't shoot a full feature. They just shot.
They shot a prequel. They didn't say, like, they did confirm they shot an entire prequel based on the beginning of Talk to Me.
Yeah, but I don't think
I'm not saying like that could mean a short. That could mean
that's the differentiation I was trying to make there. Trying to see if I can find the exact quote. I know it was somewhere here, and I just about have it. I can't find very quickly which Filippo brother said this, so I'm just gonna. Oh no, it's Danny. We actually shot an entire Duckett prequel already. It's told entirely through the perspective of mobile phones and social media. So maybe down the line we can release that. But also, while writing the first film, you can't help but write scenes for a second film. So there's so many scenes. The mythology was so thick, and if A24 gave us the opportunity, we wouldn't be able to resist. I feel like we'd jump at it. Yeah, I get the feeling like it's probably like a for fun short film scenario they kind
Yeah.
of made to flesh out his story. So just in case anyone out there is getting carried away that like, oh, they already shot a prequel and they're gonna release it. Like I wouldn't think that's the reality of the situation.
I think we'll get a sequel. I think that is
Yeah.
definitely on the horizon. But yeah, this news was more like we did some fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cat.
I have a friend. I have a friend. Well, he's having his moment.
Which like I do, I would like a prequel though, because like that's the thing. Like that's what I wanted to see more of. And I would be very happy to see something that does the social media, all of that stuff.
I don't know how much. I mean, listen, I'll watch literally anything they add to this, likely franchise. It doesn't matter when the story takes place and what it's about and who it's about. I want to see it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I I kind of let like when I was looking at comments on my non-spoiler review and also our ending explained spoiler discussion, there were a couple of complaints that they didn't like the movie because it didn't explain enough about the hand. And that I think is an asset and kind of why I like it so much because the second you explain away something, it demystifies it and it takes away from the horror of it. And also it's like the ultimate horror movie cliche to have the expert swoop in and explain away something. Like that's exactly what I don't want. But I
Yeah.
think if the franchise continues forward, at least there's opportunity to build on the mythology that the main characters know, and then it makes more sense for them to have more information. I just feel like if you go back and tell Duckett's story, it might wind up being a very similar thing where like he also doesn't know, and then he gets stuck in a bad situation.
Right. Yeah. I guess to me more it was not like had to be backstory, not that I had to like dig deeper into exposition, but I guess like my approach was more the idea that again what was exciting to me was a possession through social media. Or sorry, not
Mhm.
through social media, but like driven by social media interest and like driven by all these like other factors outside. Like I don't necessarily need to know more about the hand, but I want to see more about all of their decisions driven by likes and popularity online and all of that stuff.
I mean, that's a good angle on it. The because
Yeah.
like this movie, this movie introduces, very lightly the fact that they're all showing it off on social
Mhm.
media. So perhaps the story that comes before it could, be where it
Could do
all
that.
started, social media
Mhm.
and popularity wise.
Yeah. I like that's what I would want from it. So like yeah, that's I don't need to know more about it. I would like to just see more with it. I guess that's to
Mhm.
say.
I get
But that could
that.
also be a sequel too. Like the sequel could do the same thing.
There's really so much potential here. I can't wait to see more, and I have very, very high hopes they are going to make more. Annabelle's
Okay.
here with a super chat. Hello, my friend, and thank you for the support. Soaking in both your content always cheers me up. Name a ridiculous kill you would film for Final Destination. Side note, if viewed, any thoughts on Sympathy for the Devil? Seeing it this weekend.
I didn't view it, but I heard a lot about it, and the a lot I heard about Sympathy of the Devil is nah, big old meh. But like it's Cage. Hopefully it works for you. Hopefully it's not as meh for you. But I mean mine's easy. I always complain that like there aren't enough restaurant deaths in horror. Like I
Oof.
want Final Destination. Like
You just want another tattoo.
well, I mean like I'm not gonna argue that, but there's so much
I like
machinery
that.
and like like a fast food kitchen specifically. Like there's
Shit.
always so much fun with that kind of stuff. So
Oh
I
god.
think I don't know which way to go with it because there's so many options, but fast food restaurant, Final Destination kill.
That's probably one of the best, most original suggestions I've heard in a while. Like
Give
I don't
me.
think I've ever heard someone say that. Huh,
I
I
want it.
like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, I'll go with the cliche because I do think there's lots of potential in this, and they probably should. The cruise ship idea, I think, is a great idea. I mean,
Yeah, that'd
really,
be fun.
what also when you think about where something like that could go, what if the big disaster takes place on a cruise ship that's far out into sea, and then the rest of the movie is everybody trying to cheat death while stranded somewhere? That would completely change the playing field.
Yeah, that's fair. They can't go home. They can't escape. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
I kind of like that idea. I just came up with that on the spot.
And there's plenty to get into on a cruise ship. They're massive now. So,
Well,
like,
yeah. You could I mean, it would be interesting also, like, juxtaposing a really elaborate opening kill where there are so many things going on and so many things to do that can kill you
yeah.
versus being stranded with essentially nothing, but also likely things that can still kill you.
Yeah. I'm into it. I think cruise is a good one.
Okay. Okay. Or we could combine forces.
I mean, listen, there's plenty of those.
Do you wanna go straight into all my Final Destination goodness from there?
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
So I had the pleasure of talking to the creator of Final Destination this week because he is producing a new movie that hits theaters today, actually. It's called Till Death Do Us Part. And he kept comparing it to Violent Night in terms of it being, a very bloody action movie, which I think is a fair comparison there. It's just not Christmas time. It takes place post failed wedding. But I asked permission before I did this because when I saw his name pop up in my inbox, obviously I wanted to take the interview because I was so obsessed with Final Destination. But I know it's not right to,
Yeah.
lean into something like that when
Mhm.
someone's promoting a brand new, especially an independent film that's very ambitious that he produced. So I asked permission before I did this, and he was very generous in terms of indulging all of my super nerdy Final Destination obsessed questions. And during the conversation, he did bring up some information about the status of Final Destination 6. So one of the big things that he said, just in terms of where they're at in the development of the project, he brought up at one point, this is his quote: "There is a sixth one that's planned the minute, again, the AMPTP comes back to the table. The movie is ready to go. It's just nice as a genre fan to have something created that is, become a part of the public zeitgeist." And then he goes to sing, the franchise praises and expresses appreciation for the fandom that it started. But the point being, they're ready to go is nice to know
Yeah.
because it's been a little while since we've gotten an update. I think the last time the studio even referred to it was probably a brief mention at something like CinemaCon, I think.
Mhm.
So it's nice to know that they're sitting and they're ready to go. But this was the this was the big burning question. Oh wait, there's did I get anything else in this quote? I don't think so. The big burning thing that I wanted to bring up because we had a lengthy conversation about this, Matt. Oh, I don't have the right window up. Do you remember when we talked about his last quotes where he said that it's not going to follow the traditional design?
Vaguely.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Vaguely.
let me let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the quotes I got, but I also want to make sure to reference the original quote. So this we went down this rabbit
The
hole
rabbit
for,
hole. Okay.
for quite a while. Okay, so the original piece was from, oh, of course they don't have the quote
It's fine.
transcribed. I'm going back to the Collider piece and grabbing the quotes for you. I swear it'll be worth it. So the original comments were from Dread Central, and he had said to them while talking about Final Destination 6, I did actually speak to the screenwriters. They were very curious. They wanted to I don't think this is necessary, but they wanted to talk to me and just kind of get insights into what was crucial to Final Destination franchise and some ideas and stuff like that. Here's the part that we were talking about. This is the quote. I will say that it's not just going to be another kind of we set up a group of people, they cheat death, and then just death gets them. And there's one wrinkle that we kind of added. I think I'm reading my own damn quotes. Dude, I'm like losing it today. I think I'm just reading from my piece. Oh no. Yes. No, I'm not reading that one. Oh my god, I can't. And there's one wrinkle that we kind of added every movie to change it up a little bit. This one is a true Final Destination movie, but it doesn't follow that kind of formula that we've established. That was a thing, that it doesn't follow the formula. And we were going on and on about, or at least I was going on and on about how that runs the risk of it not being a Final Destination movie anymore. Like literally the whole point of those movies is the
The
formula,
formula, yeah.
and that it's one of those long-running horror franchises that kind of has the excuse to always rinse, wash, and repeat, because it's the ingenuity in the kill sequences that happen within that formula that are what keep that's what keeps individual installments fresh. You don't actually have to change the overall structure of the story. So I basically asked him how far he's going to push it in terms of changing Death's design. And he told me, when I say steer away, it's not gonna. I love all the films and think that you can't get away from cheating Death and Death coming after you as part of it, because that's what makes it a Final Destination film. I think the Rube Goldberg device, which actually James Wan and James Wong and Glenn Morgan came up with, I have to give them total props for that, because I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan, and my original script was very Nightmare on Elm Street influenced, reality bending kind of ways that Death got them. Then he continues and says the film doesn't just kind of add another layer. Usually there's a new layer every film where it's like, this can save you, or this can save you. This film dives into the film in such a unique way that it attacks it from a different angle. So you don't feel like, oh, there's an amazing setup and then there's going to be one wrinkle that can potentially save you all, that you have to kind of make a moral choice about or do to solve. There's an expansion of the universe that, and then he kind of laughs and stops because he doesn't want to go into spoilers, but then he actually continues. There's an expansion of the world of Final Destination that I think fans are going to be really interested in and intrigued by. When I say it doesn't add a layer, it's not just, hey, if you murder someone in your place, you'll live. It kind of unearths a whole deep layer to the story that kind of, yes, makes it really, really interesting. So I don't think they actually changed the framework of Death's design at all. I think it's going to be more of a reveal of how Death's design works that was there all along and kind of hidden in plain sight, where when we figure out whatever this new rule. Oh, am I still here? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Your video just cut out. Yep,
Oh, okay,
yep.
whatever. If the movie introduces a new layer, it's going to be more along the lines of what he said, some kind of like deeper thing that needs to be unearthed that was there all along, that when you go back and you watch films 1 through 5, you could see that the seeds were there all along.
All that just sounds like a lot of words to try to track back.
I also read it really bad because I don't feel good.
Yeah, but like again, like the Final Destination movie is a Final Destination movie. Like if that's what it is, we are gonna have the same formula. We are gonna have all that stuff. But like, it just sounds like a lot. Like that quote just sounds like a lot of words to say. Like, I promise we're gonna give you what you want, but also, if we don't, it's because we tried something new.
I don't read the last part that way. I mean, the way that I read a quote like this is dancing around, not revealing something too soon, first of all, which obviously they have to do, but I don't know. I'm kind of hung up on the idea where he gives the specific example, hey, if you murder someone in your place, you'll live. It's not doing that again. Rather unearthing a new detail about Death's design in a different way.
Was that ever just like, I am trying to think back. Like, was that ever disproven in the sense that like, if you swap, because like you swap spots, but like I think, hasn't that happened before? Where swaps.
Not every movie introduces a new rule like that. The first one, their thing is that they learn that if they intervene, Death will skip them and move to the next person in line. But what they then realize at the end of the film is that even after it's skipped all the survivors, it'll circle back and get you anyway.
Right.
The second film is all about creating new life to stop death. And then it's the fifth film that introduces the idea that if you take another life, you don't die. But that doesn't pan out either. There's also an idea, now that I'm thinking about it, that's introduced in film 3 that I don't think is ever clarified. I can't believe I can't remember what it is off the top of my head right now.
I just want another, like, this is weird to say, but I just want another Final Destination movie. I don't need this to get overcomplicated. I don't need this to be like, let's look, oh my God, this thing we're going to tell you actually circles back and redefines all the other movies. Like,
well, you need the characters to have some hope of survival in order for the movie to keep you on the edge of your, like, because you need hope for the characters that they have a chance to live. They can't just be running away from death and you sitting there knowing they're going to die no matter what.
I mean, how many Saw movies in are we?
And how many of them suck?
All the Final Destination movies aren't perfect either.
All but one are good. And I'm not talking about like passable good. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are really good movies. I could defend those movies all day long. 4 is a different story.
Yes, there are more stinkers in Saw, but still, I mean, like, yeah, it's just the thing of like, yeah.
And even 4, while, you know, the overall story is not strong, and I can't stand stuff that I could see prioritizing 3D over good storytelling, there are some pretty damn good kills in that movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I will, whatever happens, will happen. Like, again, those quotes are just like, there's a lot of words there, and I think we just need to see a trailer at this point. Like, I need to know how cute you're gonna get with it. I need to know, you know, what this whole tease is, if we want to say it.
I hope they don't reveal any of these details in the trailer. I hope the trailer is just some sort of like a true tease, like building, you know, in a foreboding manner towards, you know, if anything, revealing where the opening disaster is going to take place.
I like Cody's comment. Have death materialize in physical form and let it be like Jack. Yeah, put like Jack Black in his death. Fuck that. Let's just go all out.
That was another thing that I've heard Jeffrey Reddicks say in previous interviews, was that, like, you know, he wishes he could like own, you know, like a figure of death, like a Funko Pop of death or something like that. But because death never takes a physical form, you can't have like a villain figure for Final Destination, which I find funny.
I mean, obviously, I am very, you know, I'm always here for a new installment to a storied franchise, so I'll be there no matter what. I just, yeah.
Oh well. All right. I thought I was gonna pique your interest with those. You want to move on to Scream?
Yeah. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. So no more radio silence, or specifically Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett directing. And instead, we are getting Christopher Landon as director, with Radio Silence all returning, but in an EP capacity, I believe.
Yeah, I don't see an issue here. I mean, based on what I have seen so far from...
I'm here, by the way. I'm just stepping away for 1 second, but I hear you.
Yep, nope. Just based on what I've seen so far from Mr. Landon's recent work, Freaky, all those other things he's been working on. I think it's a very inspired choice. I think it's the correct choice, and I think having Radio Silence still involved means that, like, they're going to have a voice in this. It's not going to just be taken away and made different. So I think out of all the scenarios that could have happened, of course, there's plenty of filmmakers that could have taken that mantle and, like, it would have been the same kind of enthusiasm. But no, I think Landon's a great pick for this.
I have a lot of feelings about this.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. We are getting away from the idea that, like, the first, you know, this was Wes's trilogy, and now it was handed to Radio Silence, or sorry, like, Wes's entire franchise, and then handed to Radio Silence. So, like, it would have been nice to have Radio Silence continue themselves and continue that kind of, you know, ownership, I guess to say. But modern Hollywood, man. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I was just talking to Andre Overdahl for the last Voyage of the Demeter. And, like, I brought up Scary Stories 2 because I was like, hey, man, like, Scary Stories 2, where's that? That was teased 2020. And he's like, yeah, man, like Demeter took up 2 years of my life. He's like, I can't wait to get back to making that movie. And like, you know, he confirmed the script's done. He confirmed that's just in the way that you said Final Destination's ready to go. I think it sounds like Scary Stories 2, once the strike is over, is ready to go. But I mean, that's the thing. These guys, there's so many projects going around these days. It's like, you know, for Radio Silence to be like, listen, we're going to make our monster movie. And, you know, Scream still has to happen. That doesn't have to wait for them.
Yeah. I really liked the idea of the two of them finishing a trilogy, like having some sort of like, I mean, obviously, if the movies are profitable, the studio will never stop making them. But I would have liked for them to have told a more complete story on their own. I'm a big fan of them in general, but I also have appreciated how much they really seem to understand the Scream franchise. And I think that is absolutely key to being able to continue it, period. But in particular, to continuing to pull off what they, you know, what they started to do in film 5, but like really solidified in film 6, which is a successful passing of the torch, which I find to be near impossible to achieve in long running franchises. So the fact that they were actually able to do that is just so wildly impressive to me. So when I first heard the news that they were not returning to direct, like, I don't want to get hyperbolic about it, but like my heart was shattered. I was very sad. It's been like one of the greatest joys of the past 2 years to get 2 new fantastic installments of my favorite franchise of all time. So no matter who filled their place, I was going to be disappointed. I was going to be nervous. I will say, though, there's probably no better name out there than Christopher Landon to be doing that. Like, if anybody in this industry gives me like the most hope, it's probably him. I think he's got a really good understanding of how to bring horror comedy to screen. He's showed off that he knows exactly what he is doing when working with a masked slasher. He has directed some like A+ action heavy set pieces. And then again, he's still got the Radio Silence guidance to work with, which also gives me a lot of faith. Yeah. Did this report come with any news about who's writing the screenplay? If James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick are returning? Because like that's the other big thing. It's like
you're working on a script.
Here, like we talk about the directors, and we should talk about the directors because they're a big part of the process, but also like it usually comes down to the scripts quite significantly. So I'm just curious to see if they are returning.
I want to say yes. I want to say I did see that somewhere, and I want to say that is correct. But I, of course, defer to actual.
Yeah, I don't. This particular article that I'm looking at does not reference writers. So if anyone happens to find an article and can send it to us in the live chat, that would be much appreciated. If they do mention the writers at least. But I feel like as long as the writers return, Radio Silence returns in a producing capacity, and then Christopher Landon is our new director, I'll feel pretty good about that combination. But then the other thing that I saw some pieces mention was that not all of the core 4 are confirmed to return. I mean, not yet at least, but
yeah, like I think that's a not yet. I can't see a world where any of them walk away.
I mean, I can.
I guess.
I can, like, Jenna Ortega must be extremely difficult to book at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said before, they did the impossible by making the core 4 the new leads of this franchise. You can't do this movie without one member of the core 4.
No, I think they'll be back. I mean, again, we don't know. That is true. And again, we have to wait now until all this stuff is over with the strike. But
I'm just looking up an article from the trade just so we have as much information as possible. Blah, blah, blah. We've already talked about this. Yeah, it's all 3 of them as executive producers. Cast. It is, it is also expected that Paramount will return as a distributor. That seems quite
sure. Obvious. Yeah.
Here's what I was just bringing up. Also unclear is who will be writing Scream 7. James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick wrote the scripts for the 2 recent movies. However, Landon is also an established screenwriter, having written or co-written all of his directorial efforts. In any event, the script aspect won't come into focus until the writer strike ends. I like the idea of Guy and Jamie being involved in that script. I mean, clearly Chris Landon has written some like wildly smart and inventive screenplays, but I don't know. I just like the idea of maintaining some of that special spark that they had in 5 and 6 and ensuring it carries over in 7.
Yeah, the only thing I, just thinking about the catalog and thinking about his past work and stuff like that, like I think I like Landon better when he's dealing with lighter material, if that makes sense. Just like going back and thinking about, I'm one of the weird outliers who thinks Happy Death Day 2 is better than the first. And like honestly, the first Happy Death Day didn't do a whole lot for me. I was real middle of the road on that. And then you go back to some of his other, Paranormal Activity efforts and stuff like that. And like,
I like his Paranormal Activity movie.
Which one did he do?
He did marked ones, right?
If he did marked ones, then I might be misremembering then, because I do like.
No, I might be misremembering because
I do like marked ones a good deal.
My brain is mush. You know what's going to happen when I open up IMDb now? Today's just a day of me complaining about websites, but I'm going to open IMDb and it's going to slow my computer down. I'm going to do it anyway. That's fine.
You got the better computer.
It is the marked ones.
It is. Okay. All right. So never mind. I do like marked ones. I misremembered.
He also wrote Next of Kin.
That's right. Anyway, though, I mean, like looking at his slasher stuff, I think like Freaky to me is better at being fun than it is a like gruesome, like whatever you want to call it, like a real dark, like gritty slasher or something like that. And Scream absolutely has to be comedy. Scream has to have that in there and stuff like that. But I just do hope that I do want to see Vanderbilt and Busick come back, because they have shown to understand the DNA of Scream. And I would love to see Landon's ideas working with them doing that. I think is the overall like, end goal here. Because like, do we still know what's happening with his arachnophobia?
There hasn't been an update. I mean, that was the other thing that I was kind of disappointed about. Like, while I do want Scream 7 to move forward, I really wanted to see his arachnophobia movie.
Because like, he shared those like posters that were like, obviously just like cell posters, but like those posters were like horrifying. So
they got me hyped.
Yeah. So okay. Interesting.
To throw out one more Landon title, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse also deserved way more credit than I got.
I think I was okay with that one. I think it was
that movie.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Here's the information about the cast, though, that I was referencing. And I'm reading from the Hollywood Reporter. Sources say the actors do not have deals for a new installment, but are expected to return once the dual writer and actor strikes are settled. Ortega's deal will be one to watch, as the actress signed on to the franchise before she was catapulted to the A-list thanks to Netflix's Wednesday.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm holding the faith here. I'm holding the faith.
There's nothing they can do about that. They have to give her what she wants to come back. You can't continue, or at least I don't know. I don't want to say this definitively, but I have a good feeling that you can't continue this story with quality without all 4 members of the core 4. And I just I fear as I say that, well, I guess Tara, Chad, and Mindy are all the same age, and then Sam's the older one. So like if anyone, they could have like said Sam like moves away and gets a job while they finish college or some shit like that. But you need all 4 of them. You need all 4.
It's a problem we'll worry about when it arises.
You need all 4. Here's another thing. I don't like that I'm even saying this, but a way to get out of it, and to get out of it cheaply, is to kill Tara off in the opening. Have it be like a circle back to the Scream 5 opening, where it's like, haha, we subverted expectations by having the opening victim survive, but now she's gonna die.
That would, because they,
and then it sets Sam off on a fucking rampage. But I don't like how that backtracks on everything they earned in 6. So Don't let
Yeah,
anyone
but like,
important hear
yeah,
that.
they raised the stakes by doing the cold open they did last time. Like they gave us like by unmasking a ghost face in the cold open. I feel like they have doubled down that like the next one has to somehow be bigger than that or do something like a little more, make us think that they can keep one upping themselves. So I don't know. Like that is an interesting question. How they because I do think that last cold open, while the film itself we have discussed ad nauseum is not one of my favorites, the cold open is fucking so good.
I do quite like that cold open. Or me, yeah, I'm just reading. Sorry, Mike, I don't like that. Love Chad.
Like reality,
I
yeah.
love I love Chad, and I'm so happy he survived. I'm so happy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And we'll probably have to, play the wait and see game for a while because there's still strikes.
Something we will discuss at a later date. Hopefully, when everyone gets what they want on the correct side of the strike, and that is writers and actors.
Yeah, I believe there were talks again today.
There were.
I mean, I don't know if anything good came of any of those talks.
Yeah.
Um well, here's something that was just posted. No, I'm not getting a subscription, damn it. So there was an update 37 minutes ago.
Okay.
I'll read the piece from Yahoo Entertainment. WGA and studio reps meet, but no signs of strike ending. Representatives met, but there were no immediate signs of a breakthrough in the months-long labor standoff that has upended Hollywood. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah blah blah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this just has a whole bunch of nothing worked.
Yeah. I mean, like talks are gonna they're gonna continue to have talks. It's gonna depend on how much the studio is willing to listen and how much they're actually gonna start budging.
Yeah, the rest of this article is kind of just recapping things that were already said.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything substantial.
I can't wait until it ends already. It's just like so incredibly selfish. It's just like
Yeah.
it's ruining so many cities and lives, and
I mean,
I've had enough. I've had enough.
yeah, but this is gonna be a thing that happens in other
Literally
industries.
had enough since the day it started.
There was, but again, though, like this is gonna be an industry-wide thing, like not sorry, like outside industry thing too. Like when I was in Montreal, there was a strike happening right across the street of my hotel because once again, like bank workers for a like certain bank in Canada are all on strike because their bosses are unfairly paying them and keeping all the money. Like this is, I don't know. I feel like we should get used to strikes for a little bit.
Yeah, sadly, we have to get used to strikes, and we'll probably hear a lot of very famous people make dumb comments about the strikes.
Oh, like
What
literally,
what a dope.
that idiot is trying not to have a career in Hollywood.
I don't.
Fucking Zach Levy, whatever the fuck his name is. Fucking idiot.
Mean, I was more talking about Stephen Amell.
Well, Amell and yeah.
What a disappointment after I binged Heels. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, his comment was dumb, and Zach's was even fucking dumber, making jokes about it and shit like that at a fan con or whatever. But like seriously, that dude like just doesn't want a career anymore. And like good for you, go fucking work for Daily Wire.
Why don't they just not do those panels right now? Like I understand, like I imagine they probably have contracts with these cons that require them to do certain things, but
Oh no, I think he wanted to. He did exactly what he wanted to do. That
I
wasn't
don't
him
know.
like saying a dum dum. That was him voicing his opinion.
Like you could still go to these cons and sign autographs and take pictures and stuff. Like just don't put yourself in a position where you feel required to talk about struck work. Maybe.
Yeah, again though, this he was doing this shit at the beginning of the Shazam press tour when he was making all his anti-vax or whatever anti-mask comments when he was like doing his like COVID's fake thing. Like this dude has been trying to sabotage his own career actively. Like good for you.
What a waste. All right. You want to tell us about the Meg?
Yeah, it's dumb. Now I have to say more.
There's the pull quote for the poster.
I say this as someone who liked the Meg, who still defends the Meg, the first movie that was not very positively received, let's say. Um, and also as someone who loves Ben Wheatley, like I think Ben Wheatley doing this really had me so excited because I wanted to see what he would do with a huge budget. And it is the biggest takeaways for me are it is just too fucking long and does not sustain itself the entire time because like the first half I'm kind of in. The first half is a lot of submerged stuff. It's a lot of in the trench and there's good work going on there. Underwater, like the movie with directed by William Eubank not long ago. A lot of comparisons, like direct fucking comparisons, like copy and paste direct comparisons, which is unfortunate because Underwater is so much better and they just do the same kind of beats over and over again. But still there's something there. Like there's something there where you're engaged in. It is a cohesive feeling film and it does feel a little bit like Wheatley's exploring here. He's having fun with the material. And then the second half of the movie starts and they get above water and they start doing mini like kind of kaiju stuff and kind of like big shark stuff because Fun Island, it's the name of the island in the fucking movie, gets attacked by the sharks. So you do get trying to go for bigger and better, a lot of more deaths and stuff like that. But it feels so fucking unoriginal. It feels so like they just stopped giving a shit about quality. Like it looks bad. Performances start being worse. Like it is so. I've never seen a movie like I shouldn't say this. I have seen a movie that's done this before, but like it's so disappointing to see everything just nosedive for an entire like 45, 50 minutes. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and then it just ends. And like it's so unfortunate because the B movie fun can be there. This is a sci-fi original with Warner Brothers Discovery money. Like that is exactly what this is. They try to do some bonkers shit, but they are just so not invested in it. And I don't see, if you told me that Ben Wheatley didn't direct this movie and someone else shadow directed, I would believe that 100%. I see nothing of Wheatley here. It's so dumb. It's so, the script is like base value tropes, base value dialogue you've seen a billion times. Like there's nothing individual about this movie. So I really didn't like it. And that's coming from the guy who loves the big dumb shit. I like stupid big animal creatures chewing people.
Because I'm with you. I liked the first one quite a bit, and I thought it had a whole lot of potential to go on to be a winning, like a fun summer winning franchise, like a bonkers franchise for Warner Brothers. But if the movie's as bad as you say, with what it likely costs and what it's tracking to make, I mean, could be.
We're not getting another one.
Two and done for the Meg.
And like I do feel in some regards for the movie because the first movie, some of the best work I like in the first movie is Lee Bing and Jason Statham doing that back and forth romantic kind of funny quirky stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's a dimension of Statham that we don't always get in these movies. Like Statham is usually just the stony hard-faced action hero, and that's what he is. He's the tough guy, and we get that in the Meg one, but we also get him getting to like be kind of awkward around a girl and stuff like that. And like that works so well. I think that is a huge dynamic that makes the first one work. And that is non-existent here because unfortunately the actress dropped out of the movie, was cast. She was supposed to be a big part in this. And what you get instead is like the quick replacement of an uncle character. And again, a Chinese action star, I'm blanking on the name, apologies, but like they bring in a Chinese action star to be that more action hero buddy. So I guess they're trying to go for like Jason Statham now has, you know, his ex-lover's brother at his side and like they're like a two dads thing fighting octopuses and shit. But it just doesn't work. None of it fucking works. It just doesn't have, and like the energy level being so low for a movie that involves Jason Statham on a jet ski with a explodable torpedo or explodable spear that he made himself is like, that is telling on itself.
You're making me a lot less sad that I missed my screening this week.
It's fucking just God.
You know what I watched that was really good? Blackberry. Have you seen Blackberry?
I haven't yet, but I've heard it's quite good.
It is quite good. I was like, not only did I really like it, but I'm in New York, and both of my parents like not only liked it, but like more importantly, stayed awake for the entire thing.
Okay.
I feel like is an instant sign of a good movie. But part of the reason why I prioritized it is because when we were doing some early Oscar predictions on FYC, Mance and Jeff were emphasizing how good Glenn Howerton is in the movie and
Yeah.
that he should be up for an Oscar nomination. And like, I am aboard that train now. I think everyone's quite good in the movie, but like that's a frequently scene stealing performance, and he is something else in that role. So
Yeah, I've heard that very
I had
aggressively. So
I had more luck hanging home and watching movies here.
yeah, like literally, because I sit next to Simon, sit next to two other people we know, and like we all like it was one of those movies you watch the whole time, and you know you're having a bad time, but you're like, am I the only one having a bad time? And we all walked out and looked at each other and we're like, that was dog shit, right? And we're all like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like you too. Okay, great.
That reminds me of when I took a friend to my press screening of Amsterdam. And, you know, this person really wanted to see Amsterdam. And we went and we saw it. And, like, we didn't get all that far into the movie where I was sitting there and I'm like, fuck, I want to leave. But, like, I didn't want to tap him on the shoulder and be like, do you hate this? Do you want it? Because I didn't want to ruin it in case he was liking it. So, neither of us said anything the whole movie, and then when we got up and left, we're like, that was bad. It was bad.
Yep. I still have not bothered with that one.
Don't for a multitude of reasons.
Is Meg 2 worse than Fast X? That's actually a good question, Mike.
Oh, no way it can be worse than Fast X. Fast X is kind of fun and has some, like, a couple of really well done action scenes. Like, it might be, like, nonsense a lot of times, but some of those action scenes are kind of exceptional.
It's close, but
Meg
Meg 2 is worse. Meg 2 is worse. Fast X is not good. Fast X is bad.
When are you seeing Mutant Mayhem, Matt?
Soon, honestly, when I can.
You should go see it soon just to, like, wash the Meg 2 stank off.
I actually have tickets to see Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 tonight at the Alamo. So that is how I'm watching.
You said that. That's cool. Yeah. I'm jealous. That'll be fun.
Yeah, they're like, I don't even know why they're doing it, but they got like a little few Alamo dates, and LA is one of them. And I was like, I've never seen this on screen. So
that's fucking awesome. I went to one of the New York Alamos for the first time recently to see Gran Turismo.
The Manhattan one?
Yes.
Nice.
I'd never been in there before. I didn't really have all that much time to like look around and explore and everything. Mm-hmm. But it was nice. I liked it. I was comfortable.
Yeah, I want to go to that one for sure. It's also really interesting because I'm sure someone might have told you already, but like this year's Fantastic Fest, like South Lamar Alamo was one of like the last ones that had like the old setups where it was just like the straight single row table that goes straight across and like the older seats like that. So they're updating it, and the Fantastic Fest that, you know, if you are there, like you're going to see just like the Alamo that you're used to, when like the South Lamar used to be like the last standing, just like old school one.
Okay. Well, I can confirm now because certain things are booked. I will be there.
Right.
I can't wait, Matt. I can't wait.
Are you staying the whole time? Fantastic is my favorite. What did you say? Oh yeah.
I will be there the whole time.
Fantastic is my yearly, you know, well, when I was going, so I would go for the whole time. So
this is make sure I survive. That's your one job.
I have to worry about myself, Perri. You're a big girl.
I don't trust you though.
What?
I can't trust being around you in settings like that.
I am extremely productive.
You're an enabler.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, you are.
I'm incredibly professional in festival settings.
Okay.
I get my work done and I party. I know how to do both.
I mean, no, I can't deny that. Actually, you know what? Maybe you are more professional in that setting.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
I found the balance. Yeah. What do you mean?
So we have like 10 minutes left. Anyone want to drop in some
we forgot. There's a super.
I missed it.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
fine.
God, I'm so sorry, Travis. Travis, I miss Travis of all people. I would like to see a reboot of the 13 Ghosts movie that starred Tony Shalhoub. The sliding glass walls was good, except I would make it a bigger area with more ghosts. I haven't thought about that movie in forever.
13 Ghosts is perfect. Don't do anything.
I remember really liking that for a while. I
I
just haven't
fucking love
revisited it
13
in
Ghosts.
forever.
I adore that movie a tremendous deal.
Okay, okay. I'm surprised Caleb's not here to make us talk about football because that's right around the corner.
We are
We filled the Patreon league. We're a 14 team league this year.
nice.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
I'm getting more and more trying to figure out my direction on drafts and stuff. This year is there's a lot of talk about how this year's draft is actually like gonna flip a lot of people's perceptions on how to draft. It's no longer
Why?
because usually like running backs used to be the most valuable. Like
Oh.
running back first, you go running back first, and then you fill from there. But like this is the first year where you look around the league and you're kind of like, running backs are no longer the what they were.
So
So I don't know.
so basically this could be the first year that I draft right because I never
Yeah,
draft
100%.
a
Yeah.
good running. The only time I ever drafted a good running back first, it was a running back who wound up not playing the entire season.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's no right or wrong. If you're winning, you're winning. That's fine. But yes, traditionally running backs were the
Yeah.
highest valued position. But this year is like the first year they're like Justin Jefferson is like the projected number one, not
Yeah.
running back, which is crazy.
Does not surprise me. Does not surprise me. I need to start doing my homework. I do really want Jalen Hurts again. He served me well in both of my leagues last year.
Hurts is gonna be a beast. That is nothing you got to worry about.
I would bet on that. All right, guys, last call for questions. I mean, I'm kind of excited for the Jets just because I am going to see a Jets game, so I want them to be good for that reason.
That is fair. I think they got a shot with Rodgers, but we'll see.
I'm hopeful Haunting of Venice is good. That
Yeah.
trailer was really good. And I like the last two. I like the last two Poirot movies he made. I mean, they're not like the greatest things in the world that I'm like obsessed with this film franchise he's creating, but I think they're pretty solid. And I just like the fact that he seems to be leaning like heavy genre with Haunting of Venice, like not some sort of like like Poirot mystery with some spooky elements to it. Like there are parts in that trailer that are solid jump scares, creepy imagery type stuff.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm
I
into it.
don't think I saw the last one. I think I skipped out on that one.
It's pretty good. I actually really liked the last one. The only thing that I could think of off the top of my head right now, at least that really bothered me in that is it's one of those movies where I thought the green screen backdrop was very evident, which felt very strange to me in a movie that's supposed to be in this like incredible landscape where
Yeah.
everything's beautiful, but like all I ever saw anywhere was actors standing on a stage with a fake backdrop.
Yeah. I forget what I think I was watching Extraction 2 and I felt that way too. That was very much like, fun action, fun everything. I had my enjoyment with that one, but there were so many scenes where like Hemsworth is like leaning off of a train and it's so blatant that like it's just, again, like you said, just like green screen. Like he's not actually in the wilderness or anything. Like, yeah.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves now, and I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
It drives me off.
I just watched Shazam fucking Fury of the Gods on the flight
And
back from wherever
is
I
it
was.
worth it?
No, not at all. But like
Aw.
it just ties in because that was my biggest complaint. Like my biggest complaint was just this movie felt like it was only filmed on green screens and that's it. It's like it's so lifeless in the digital aspect of it. Like it just feels like nothing is real. It just feels like it's just cool. We just went on a lot. We put up some green screens and that was how we filmed the entirety of Shazam. Like, I don't know. There's just no life to it.
Well, maybe I'll keep pushing that one off then. We've got Travis back here with another super chat. Is there any talks or plans yet for the next Evil Dead chapter? Was there something recently?
Well, I think there's talks or plans, but like I think it was either Raimi or Campbell said that they want to start making these more frequently. Like they don't want to have large gaps. So like they want to do it like on not anthology, but like, they kind of give a filmmaker the reins and be like, do it, give us a take on it. So that'd be cool if they do that quicker.
I wouldn't mind that. I actually kind of like what you just said about the idea of an anthology. I mean, obviously, I'm really obsessed with Evil Dead Rise, and I really like those characters, and I would love to see the continuation of Beth's story. But I also really, and I would also be very happy if news broke that Lee Cronin was directing another Evil Dead movie. But I also like the idea of them going the anthology route and kind of using the Evil Dead playground as a way to highlight like an up and coming director and kind of launch their careers. And I feel like that's the perfect material to do something like that with.
Yeah, agreed.
For next Scream, know who the killer is for the whole movie. That's interesting.
That would be the next subversion.
Huh. I'm like trying to think of how that could work in a way where you still maintain like enough tension. Like if that were the case, what would be driving the movie forward?
That Stu is the ringleader behind it.
Oh, stop it.
What do you mean?
Stop it.
What do you mean? We're getting back into that territory where I start saying Stu lives again.
The TV killed 2 people now.
Did it? We don't know. We can't confirm.
I can't handle this conversation.
You can't confirm.
I can't handle it. All right. What else we got before we close this out? Oh, well, this is a pretty hot topic right now. Do you guys think Mission Impossible ends after the next movie since this new one is flopping financially? I don't like this story. It just makes me, I'm just looking up some numbers so we can get into it. Yeah, like the budget for this movie is insane. $291 million. And yes, I know that some of that money is like unavoidable expenses that come from making a movie during COVID, but I don't know. I have like a real problem with studios overspending on these gigantic blockbusters to the point where they're, if they're not mega successes, they're not capable of being profitable. But like the other thing that bothers me about Dead Reckoning Part 1 not performing is that it's a gigantic blockbuster movie that is legitimately good. Like it should be rewarded. Like the fact that, and I know a lot of people out there liked the Mario Brothers movie, and I respect that, but I did not like it. And I think the story could have been stronger than what it was. So the fact that that is currently our highest earner, whereas something like Dead Reckoning can't hit a point where it's profitable enough is just, I don't know, it's just disappointing to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. But again, that is the thing. Like, if you want to spend $200 million on a movie without marketing and then factor marketing and all that stuff, like you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're already saying that you need to make X amount of dollars to be profitable, and that's already such a large ask. So it's the risk, and we're doing that in a culture now that like is going to the movies less and less, it seems. So
just looking up, because we brought this one up, I want to look up where Fast 10 is. Yeah, Fast 10 is at 740 million worldwide, and I think it cost something like 300 million to make?
Something like that.
But it's like, I think I brought this up on somewhere else, but for a movie like that, I bet you can save a significant amount of money if you didn't have to have that big of an ensemble.
That was my biggest complaint about the movie, was the ensemble being way too damn big. So like that is the Fast movie I want to see next, the more pared down one, the one that like doesn't just come down to fucking cameos and explosions. Like I want an actual movie with development going on. So
yeah, with characters, with characters that are built up well enough that they actually enhance the family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe that's like, again, like everything is going to be a reaction, or sorry, everything in the future is going to be based on a reaction to something in the past. So like, I think this is the year where a lot of blockbusters, unfortunately they're inflated budgets by COVID, but still large budgets not making money. So does Hollywood now realize that, and in the coming years go like, well, let's stop spending as much? And
yeah, I think we're going to see
on that
big changes with spending going forward, like many changes, and probably should happen. All right, I think that's it. I don't know what some of these mean, and I'm not bringing up the stew thing again, so I'm purposely avoiding all.
What do you mean?
Dude, You want one?
Like, did anything confirm in the last movie? If anything, they teased that it's still coming with that line about stew.
No, that's not true. That line was a joke that put it to bed.
No, it's a joke because I know what's
It
coming.
referenced the dopes like you who have to sit here and be like, he's alive even though a TV fell on his head. They're just trying to be respectful of you. That's it. They gave you a little pat on the back, and now they're moving on to the reality of the situation.
Or they're acknowledging that I'm right and making sure that I know that I'm right.
So, Matt, what did you write, and what do you want to plug before we close the show out?
Follow me on Twitter, on Letterboxd, on Blue Sky now if you're there, at Donatobomb. Also Instagram, I'm over there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm writing my Fantasia things right now, so just finding little hidden gems here and there. I've got a few more write-ups coming, so I will tell you what to watch in the future.
I can't keep track of all the social media stuff. Like anytime someone asks me, like, plug your work, I just don't want to say social media anymore. I just ramble.
I'm using Twitter less than Blue Sky more, like officially. It has just switched in a way that like I actually enjoy being around Blue Sky and the interactions happening there versus Twitter. And like legitimately, there are times where I have like I don't have a massive following. Let's be honest with that. But like I have like 7,600 followers on Twitter, and I'll tweet my review there, and I'll tweet my review to my 450 on Blue Sky. And I literally get more engagement on Blue Sky now because of the way that like Twitter works.
That's one thing that's bothering me about Threads is that there's no engagement there whatsoever. Like literally nothing. And I understand it because I don't find Threads to have an interface that's set up in a way that encourages me even to engage. Like I feel like I'm just posting on there out of obligation. So hopefully we'll figure something out.
You should. So if you're like down to a few, like absolutely stop with Threads and go to Blue Sky. Like it's much better.
All right. I don't know. Maybe I will finally do that. I'll give us each one more. One for me and one for you. And I'll also tell everybody to go watch the Collider Extras YouTube channel tomorrow morning because we have a brand new ladies' night, that was taped pre-SAG strike with Iowa Debris for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But if you're following her work, you know that she's having like an insanely successful summer between The Bear, an Emmy nomination. Theater Camp is already out in theaters. Obviously, Mutant Mayhem is out in theaters this weekend. And then next up later in August, another movie that you absolutely must see is Bottoms. And we talk about it all. And she was lovely and just like a lot of fun. And I literally spent a quarter of our conversation trying to recruit her for a horror film.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Should be good.
I would love to see that happen. All right. That is it for this episode of the Merri Hour. But next week, we will finally be back in the same room.
No, we won't.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm in Philadelphia.
Motherfucker, I thought that was the week after. Why are you drafting so early?
Honestly, I don't know that. That is legitimately a question that I have too, but we like to draft early.
I'm literally never going to see your new place. Your lease is going to be up and you'll have moved out before I can come over. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, on that note, we'll see you virtually next weekend. Bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.